Recently, Square Enix made the public announcement that a new Life is Strange game is indeed in development. And not only that, but this new installment in the series would be prominently featured at the Square Enix Presents Digital Conference coming next Thursday. Given that barely more than a year has passed since the conclusion of Life is Strange 2, it feels a bit too soon to be receiving word of a new installment in the long-running series. And while little to nothing is yet known about this new entry, I thought it would be worth our while to speculate what exactly we might expect from it based on the precedents laid down so far in the series. Hey everybody, this is Dan from the future. I'm just popping in for a minute to make a quick clarification as Square Enix has revealed some new information about the game, confirming some of the things I did mention in this video, basically about half of the things I mentioned on this list. However, some of the other things on this list have yet to be supported by any material evidence. I'll revisit this again at the end of the video. That said, I'll get out of the way and we'll proceed. Starting with number 1, this is not Life is Strange 3. I'm sorry to burst everyone's bubble, but I think we have to start by debunking probably the most unrealistic expectation. Based on what we've seen so far, Square Enix seems to prefer giving the main Life is Strange team over at DontNod a bit of a break between Life is Strange releases, to allow them to pursue creating their own original IPs on the side. The average development cycle for a Life is Strange game seems to be about 3 years, with the first one releasing in 2015 and the second one releasing in 2018. With the prequel game Life is Strange Before the Storm, which was developed by a third-party developer, releasing in 2017. So logically, you'd think that 2021 is the year we can expect Life is Strange 3, following the established 3-year trajectory. However, there's a small but obvious catch. With everyone spending the better part of a year transitioning from their offices to working from home, a lot of industries, including the gaming industry, has been forced to adapt. And this has caused a natural series of delays for a lot of teams. I believe this next game we're going to get, whether at the end of 2021 or in 2022, will be another standalone spin-off, not a new sequential entry in the main series. I think it's far more likely we'll see a third Life is Strange game a year or two from now, still in the near future, but not this near at hand. Number 2. We'll see returning characters from previous Life is Strange games make appearances. DontNod has placed a fair amount of emphasis on all the Life is Strange games being interconnected to at least some degree, creating a shared world environment for their creative teams to play around in. I don't expect any primary characters to make an appearance, so no, I would bet against Max, Chloe, Sean, Chris, or Daniel making an appearance. Though in the case of Daniel, maybe that's a good thing in hindsight. Number 3. It will feature a similar 2-character duo. Whether the characters are already known to us or whether they're new altogether, we will see another tag team with contrasting personalities. Life is Strange wouldn't be Life is Strange if it didn't have a pair of adventurous and rebellious teenage characters to play off each other. Number 4. The story will be more grounded, more similar to Life is Strange 1 rather than 2. While the on-the-go nature of Life is Strange 2, both narratively and in terms of gameplay, welded together nicely and created a lot of excellent opportunities to rely on symbolism, I don't think we'll be seeing a parade of different locales this time around. I have no idea where the new game will take place, but I'm fairly confident it'll once again be set in another grounded small town or suburb, with maybe a few additional locales. Life is Strange tends to do best with micro-scale environments to allow the character development and ensuing drama take priority over the rest. Number 5. There will be a new gameplay mechanic that will tie heavily into the plot. One of the things we've come to expect from any Life is Strange game is a new mechanic or gimmick that ties closely to the core of the main character's identity or personality. With Max in Life is Strange 1, it was her camera, which tied into the overarching themes of capturing moments in time, and her time-warping abilities, which tied into her ultimate flaw as a character, her failure to understand or accept that choices have consequences. Consequences we sometimes cannot even begin to comprehend. For Chloe in Before the Storm, it was her talkback gimmick, where the player would have to listen closely to any character confronting Chloe, listening for a few specific keywords or a phrase, and then selecting the vaguely named dialogue response that most closely tied into what she just heard, in order to deliver a biting, sarcastic comeback that would effectively shut the other person down. With Sean, it was his drawing sketchbook, and the moral lessons he would teach Daniel based on the moral or immoral actions the player would choose in certain story-driven situations. To keep things fresh and interesting, as well as allowing the player to infer a lot about the main character's personality and motivations, I think it's all but guaranteed we will be getting some kind of new character-defining mechanic. Number 6. It will once again release episodically, followed by a full complete edition releasing on consoles and Mac later down the road. The first part is really a no-brainer. Anyone who's ever played or heard of Life is Strange will doubtlessly be well aware of its episodic format. However, for those of you that prefer to play through the entire game in one sitting, as I mostly did myself with Life is Strange 1, I played episodes 1 through 4 back-to-back over 2 nights and had to wait about a month for episode 5 to release. Square Enix will probably release some kind of complete deluxe edition on consoles and Mac computers a month or two following the release of the final episode. However, it's not likely said complete edition will make it to PC. It's just a guess, but Square Enix does have a habit of really favoring consoles over PC. Number 7. It will not be the length of a full season. This is the point I'm probably the least sure of, but I think it's still in the realm of possibility. This installment, assuming it is a spinoff and not a proper third game, is probably going to be a bit smaller scale than the main entries in the series. I would say probably 4 episodes rather than 5, maybe 3. Before the Storm technically had 3 episodes, but later went on to add a single standalone episode which reunited Max and Chloe for one last prequel adventure, set years before Life is Strange 1. This delay in releasing the 4th spin-off episode was due to some developmental issues, as all 4 were originally planned to release together in one package. As I expect this to be a somewhat tighter story than the more meandering Life is Strange 2, I think a drop from 5 episodes to maybe 4 is reasonably likely, assuming they just don't do 3. Number 8. It will be made available as a mobile port, with exclusive features. If the previous games are anything to go by, expect a dedicated mobile version to release roughly a year following the debut of the final episode, with some new features that don't really add to the experience. When Life is Strange 1 released on mobile, Square Enix really tried to get existing fans to buy the mobile ports as well by promoting this new awesome feature, which was just allowing Max, aka the player, to take selfies of herself and her surroundings at any point during the game. Basically a slightly downgraded and simplified photo mode, compared to those we've seen in recent years developed by studios like Monolith or Insomniac. And yeah, technically everything is downgraded when we're talking about mobile, but when you as a company are trying to convince PC and console players to buy your mobile port, I feel it's an apt comparison to point out. Number 9. Say goodbye to Denuvo. Players of Before the Storm will remember how Square Enix tried to force in an aggressive, intrusive, and ultimately laughably ineffectual anti-piracy software called Denuvo into PC installations of Before the Storm, causing an insane amount of performance-related issues. Square Enix was later forced to remove Denuvo after public outcry began to mount, and negative press articles came flying in everywhere like Hogwarts letters into Dursley's living room. Needless to say, unless Square Enix is far stupider than I give them credit for, I doubt they're going to want to risk a public relations nightmare like that a second time, especially since as a company they're not really in the good graces of most gamers at the moment. Number 10. This is not the conclusion of the series. I could point out the obvious in that Life is Strange as a series has been a pretty solid money earner for Square Enix. And as Square Enix, being a AAA game publisher, is definitely not opposed to continuing to make more money, rest assured this will not be our last trip into the warm, stylized, music-guided world of Life is Strange, especially as Square Enix for a while now has been trying to bring Life is Strange to the film or television screen, along with some of their other IPs. Whatever the future holds for this series, its end is definitely not in sight anytime soon. So this is Future Dan again, and as I'm editing this, Square Enix has, since my initial recording of this video, confirmed that this newest installment in the series will feature an all-new cast of characters and a new supernatural or a superhuman Life is Strange style power. Nothing else as of yet is currently known. We do not know if, similar to Life is Strange 2 and Before the Storm, whether characters from earlier games will be making supporting appearances or cameos, but I doubt we'll find that out until the episode's release. I sincerely doubt Square Enix would want to give something major like that away so far ahead of the game's launch. But we'll find out for ourselves this coming Thursday, when the conference debuts. And on that note, that's where I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. I have a lot of love for the series, and whatever path the series takes next, I will follow for as long as I can. If you want to support the work I do on this channel, consider leaving a like and a comment. Tell me what you think will come next. What shape or form do you think this new entry will take? I'm curious to hear where you stand on this. I'm really hoping to cross 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We currently have about 1,260, so we're still a little less than 740 subscribers shy of that goal. But we still have a long way to go before 2021 comes to a close. Plenty of time to ramp things up. If we do hit that goal, I plan to give $100 to the Team Trees nonprofit initiative, a group that actively plans to reduce our carbon footprint by repopulating forests across the world. As of now, they've planted over 22 million trees, and that number continues to rise. While you're welcome to donate yourself, subscribing to this channel and helping to get this channel closer to the 2,000 subscriber goal, some forced to fulfill my donation pledge, is also good enough. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. This is Warrior Dan signing out. Stay awesome, everybody. Stay safe, and peace out.